Okay, so I have to talk about this story with RealPage really quickly. I will say right off the top, it doesn't really fit with the content that we usually do, but RealPage is my personal I think of them as my personal enemy. So any time that I get an opportunity to talk shit about them, I will take it. So indulge me. So on the episode last week, we were talking about this provision buried in Donald Trump's big, beautiful budget bill that would ban states from enforcing laws on AI for 10 years. Did you hear about this?
Oh yeah. Yeah, states' rights. Oh, what happened to
Oh,
those?
yeah,
Missing them
exactly.
again. Like, okay.
Exactly. So, one of the kind of real world examples of how this might impact people that I talked about when we talked about that bill was how scumbag landlords are able to use technology like RealPage that allow landlords in a whole area to work together to coordinate to essentially algorithmically determine how much they can raise your rents, right? So it's this, the government has called this price fixing, which I happen to agree. So these are scumbags who make scumbag technology for scumbag landlords, and as a lifelong renter, these people are my biggest ops. Like, I cannot stand this. I think this technology is ruining cities. I hate it. In 2022, a report from ProPublica linked RealPage to rising rent prices across the United States, alleging that its algorithm allows landlords to coordinate pricing. And the Department of Justice in 8 states sued RealPage last year, claiming that it deprives renters like me of the benefits of competition on apartment leasing terms. So, cities like Minneapolis, Jersey City, San Francisco, Philadelphia, and others have passed laws that are meant to ban the use of this kind of algorithmic AI based rent setting software. And other states have legislation like this in the works. But if this budget bill passes, that means that states can no longer enforce those kinds of laws, which would be a real win for scumbag landlords and the company that makes this rent raising technology, RealPage. So now senators are basically asking, did RealPage pay to get that provision buried in the budget bill? This week, lawmakers say that they believe RealPage might have spent millions of dollars pushing for this provision. In a letter that they sent to RealPage's CEO, 5 Democratic senators, Warren, Sanders, Klobuchar, Booker, and Smith, are asking for more information about RealPage's potential involvement. The letter reads, in light of this, we seek information on RealPage's lobbying efforts and how the Republicans' reconciliation provision would help the bottom line of RealPage and other large corporations, allowing them to take advantage of consumers. So I just have to shout that out. First of all, just the feeling of reading senators doing something that I feel like does have a real impact on the lives of constituents. Like, it's just nice to be like, oh yeah, governing. Like, somebody's out there
For
doing
sure.
it.
No, literally, especially in these chaotic times, it sort of is like, is anyone doing anything? I think is often how people feel. Sometimes there's the feeling versus the reality. Did somebody actually go to GovTrack and see what bills were introduced? Right? There's always sort of like that mixture of things. But I think for me, when I think about this, I'm excited to see that they're actually looking at a tech piece of something, right? Like, I think that we understandably look at Congress at large and go, oh my gosh, these old dudes that have no idea how to even open Instagram unless like some assistant helps them,
Yeah.
how could they ever understand AI and its possible implications and everything else under that sun? So I think to even see that they're reacting, I mean, I'm not surprised that Elizabeth Warren was reacting given sort of her expertise, but
Yes.
elsewise, and I hope that it continues to expand because AI, honestly, it freaks me the fuck out. Like, I really, really like am not a fan. I know it's integrated into so many things that we do, even the things that we don't even realize, but I just don't like it. I don't think it's a thing for good. Oftentimes, I really think, especially given the hands that it's coming out of, that it's a thing for bad. And that if we are going to have it, that it needs guardrails. And the fact that this bill would get rid of those guardrails, right? And make it, I mean, if thinking about like how much AI has come into our lives in like literally the last year and a half, how much it's taken over the conversation. I mean, a year and a half ago, I wouldn't even imagine that we were talking about AI as much as we are. So think about what that looks like on an accelerated pace for 10 years,
Right.
and then not being able to put any guardrails at, the state level. That's crazy. I, I mean, I just don't know how, where would we all we're not going to have jobs, to be
Right.
quite frank. Like,
And I mean, I think it comes down to like, do people want a world where the not just the rent in your building, but the rent in your entire city goes up so the CEO of RealPage's scumbag AI price fixing tool can make more money? Is that a better world for you? Probably you and me? Probably not. Definitely a better world for the CEO of this technology company who is making money from it and profiting from it. But yeah, I would just argue like I can't, I mean, I could talk all day. The fact that this provision would so clearly benefit the owners of this tech company and harm just regular people trying to make rent, you and me, renters, like people who, you
yeah,
know, just regular folks, I think is pretty clear. And so, yeah, I'm with you. I think when you think about the values of the people who make technology like this, I tend to think it's not going to be technology that makes our lives better. I think it's really poised to exploit.